Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi, Managing Editor of Canada's Entrepreneur. Joining me today is Vitalii Dodonov, who is co-founder of Toronto-based startup Stan. Thanks, Vitalii, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Tell me just a little bit about Stan, what it is and what you do. I see on your website that you're described as an all-in-one creator store.
Yes, that's where we started. The vision for our company is to help anyone make living and work for themselves. The mission is very big, and we started in the space of monetizing content and working with content creators. Now we've evolved our business to a much bigger mission of helping people solve the content problem specifically, because if you are great at making content, that effectively means that you can create so many opportunities for yourself, whether it's direct monetization of your expertise or connections that people can discover you for. So now we are spending a lot of our time building AI agents for content creation, and our vision that people should spend as much time as they can doing the work that they're great at, but they also at the same time should get great at telling their story online, which is very difficult to do. So we're building technology that will allow them to do this, to make sure that the world knows about the awesome work that they're doing.
Tell me, like, when did you start Stan?
It was 5 years ago.
5 years ago? And why the name Stan?
Um, so what we always wanted to do is to create a personal relationship with our customers. And Stan is a human name, first of all. So when you're interacting with the technology, it has a semblance of interacting with a human. That's very important to us. And the second component to it is Stan, kind of for Gen Z kind of terms, also means super fan, which is like I can say I stan you, which effectively means like I'm a big fan of who you are and I'm here to support.
Okay, and can you go back in time and how did this all come about? And why? Tell me the story behind the starting up of Stan.
Wow, it brings back memories. Um, it was 2021, the middle of COVID. I was working for eBay at the time, and my ambition has always been to not ambition, but what I wanted to start with is to work for myself. And I was working very hard at my day job, and I was spending all of the time outside, the early mornings, the weekends, the evenings, trying to work on my own ideas. And there was a point in time where I spent 2 years trying to create different types of technology that would be interesting, but I looked at it from the technology first point of view. And what I was looking is to figure out the problem that is worthwhile solving. And somewhere along the way, 2021, I met someone, now my co-founder John, who had a very big vision for the problem he wanted to solve, and that was to help anyone make living and work for themselves, for the creator economy as a starting market, which I saw a very big opportunity in, because I thought that we could actually do it, and that I would be able to put the expertise that I've created to basically create the future that I wanted for myself, for as many people as possible. It's now been 5 years, and we've helped over 80,000 people make over $600 million online with that. So I think we've created quite a bit of value there, and a long way to go. But that's where Stan basically came from the intention to help as many people as possible to make a living and work for themselves.
So tell me, like, your background. Like, how did you, what were you? You said you at eBay before this. What's your background?
Very mixed. Every few years, I would do a completely different thing, starting from the beginning. Maybe I would start by saying that I was born and raised in Russia. Later in my kind of time in Russia, when I was 13 to 18, I did quite a bit of skydiving, which is how I paid for the first year of tuition. Then I moved to Canada, where I studied chemical engineering, and I got a chemical engineering degree. Um, Never worked as a chemical engineer, though, because as soon as I graduated, I went to work in consulting, technology consulting at Deloitte, where I spent about a year working as a consultant, and then I transitioned to do machine learning, also at Deloitte, moving to Toronto in the process. As I've gotten good at machine learning, then like personal just self-education, I taught myself coding and building web apps. So I went to work for eBay as a senior software engineer. They hired me because they resonated with one of the projects I built on a side.
Mhm.
So I worked about a year at eBay, and that was a time where one of my projects kind of brought me in a way where I had an opportunity to start a company, and the Stan journey started from there.
What's your plans for growth for Stan?
What we would like to create is a completely different way in how the society broadly interacts with social media. I think there's misconception kind of historically where social media is more so for influencers and it's like for fun, for entertainment. That's where it came from, but this is no longer what it is today. For me, for example, as a founder, by having an online presence, I've hired the best people in the market because we've been able to reach them through the form of content. We've been able to attract the most interesting investors because they see the story and they build trust through the content that we make. We've been able to close like numbers and numbers of clients because of the content that we are creating. And we believe that access to that ability should be available to as many people as possible. It's very unfortunate that a lot of people are absolutely remarkable in real life, but their online blueprint is just so small that they're not discoverable. So as a result, opportunities just naturally don't come to them, and they have to put a lot of work into chasing them. So what we want to create at Stan is to create a completely new category that doesn't yet exist that will allow people to interact with social media in a way that basically puts them on the map and changes the power dynamic from them chasing the opportunities to opportunities coming to them. Today, it comes in the shape of us building an AI agent that is going to act as your personal head of content, that is going to be with you all the time, paying attention to everything that you're doing. Like, for example, even taking notes from this interview. After this interview finishes, like Stanley is listening and he will send me a few content ideas, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's X, that I could post based on the insights that I've shared, just kind of packaging for the platform. And I wouldn't have to do anything about it myself. This is just taking what already exists and putting it out there. We see the growth of the company coming through basically being able to do that job well and introduce it to as many people as possible.
Yeah. What about the creator economy in general? How much has that been growing lately?
It's been growing very well. I believe that in the end game, everyone who is going to be successful is going to be a creator of sorts. As in 10 years from now, if you're not online, you're pretty much invisible. And if you're invisible, you will not have access to the best opportunities. So in order for you to survive, let alone do well, you will have to be online, which means you will have to do content of sorts.
Yeah. Does it amaze you that in this day and age that you still see businesses out there that don't have an online presence?
There's perhaps some legacy models that still works. Like for example, there's around the corner like a pizza shop that probably doesn't necessarily need an online presence to get customers. They've been around for 20 years.
Yeah.
But if you want to start a business today, and if you want that business to succeed and do well, it is probably very unlikely for you to be able to do that well unless you have some sort of the online strategy to attract customers and to build brand with your community.
Yeah, exactly. Now, when you first started the business, what was your biggest challenge?
The number one thing required to create a business that is likely to succeed is being able to attract the top 1% people to work for you. When you're starting a company, basically you are fighting an uphill battle of being a no-name person, building a no-name company, and you're trying to get the best people out there to help you build it. It's very, very difficult. Um, I remember for the founding engineering positions, I personally interviewed around 50 candidates per position for senior engineering role to find the ones that I would be excited to work with. And I think us being able to do that hiring well is one of the core reasons why we've been able to succeed as a business. One of the metrics that I'm very proud of is we built Stan to $30 million in annual recurring revenue in 3 years with less than 30 people, which effectively means that we've crossed the threshold of $1 million in revenue per employee. And it came from us doing a good job at hiring.
Yeah, yeah. And if you were giving advice to other people that who were wanted to start up a business, what would you tell them?
I think if you have an idea and a vision for what should exist and you believe it's genuinely valuable for people around you, you should go and do it. It has never been easier to start a business than it is today. The technology that's available, primarily through the shape of vibe coding, has removed all the barriers for entry. So now we are all competing on the quality of our ideas and the depth of our understanding of the customer problems. So I would encourage people to go and pursue those ideas in addition to everything that they are already doing. And another thing that I can share with them that they can see a strong validation through my own story and the story of people close to me is building as easy, distribution is hard. It's very easy to start a business. What's the hardest thing to do is to bring attention to that business and have it take off. And in order for you to do that well, you need to get really good at creating content and rallying attention towards paying attention to what you're trying to do. The common misconception and the mistake people make, they think that they need to build something first and it needs to be great and people needs to love it and then they're going to market it later. This is wrong. This is backwards. What you need to do instead is to be building in public and telling the story of what you're building as you're building this, because that builds trust with the people who are excited for you to solve that problem, which generates the kind of trust that you would not be able to acquire anywhere else. And by the time you are ready to launch your product, you're already going to have dozens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of people cheering for you. And it's like, just tell me where to sign up, just tell me where to pay. I've been watching you do this. I'm excited to try.
Okay. Now, you mentioned good content. How do you define that? Like, what are the key things that make good content?
There's a very simple definition. Good content is the content that no one else but you can make. As in, if something is posted on the internet, Mario, say you post something, and I remove your name and your picture from the piece of content, and it's out there,
Mhm.
and it can exist like that, it's probably not a good content, and that's an AI. So like that's an opinion without substance. Good content is the content that if you replace any credibility of the person from there, it will be clearly recognized that it comes from the person who made it. Um, the reason we have the AI slop problem broadly, because producing words that sound good like is not a problem. This is just like it's the same as noise. Producing noise is not a challenge, but like a great musician, for example, producing music, like you just listen to it, you don't need to know like who it came from, like a certain kind of tunes, like you just know
Yeah.
what the characteristics of the artist that created them. We see content the same way. So when we are investing in content, when we are investing in people to help them make content, it's much less about just producing the volume of the output of content. That's a variable, but that's not what it is about. What it is about is us, through the shape of technology, working with people to help them discover and bring those ideas out of them that makes them uniquely them, and package them in a format that is likely going to be seen on the internet.
Hmm. And you mentioned you used the word about storytelling. How important is that in in what people are doing when they're creating content?
I believe content is all about storytelling. As in, if all you wanted to do is to gather information, like you might as well just go to, Google, ChatGPT, Claude, and ask the question, you will get the answer. Um, but in order for us to consume information, like it's like when we are growing up, there is a reason we love stories. And I think a lot of the stories that um, kind of fuel the formation of us as humans, like because like humans are very visual kind of beings. We feel things and we see pictures and then we reason through them afterwards. It's
Yeah.
very not intellectual. So I think storytelling is a key attribute of content that generally performs well, because if you're able to take whatever it is that you want to share and package it into a story, then people are going to receive that story. They're going to get curious and excited about the story, and they're going to see the message. Um, One of the things, if I wanted to share now that we're in the conversation, Mark, have you had a chance to read the book, the Three Body Problem, the trilogy? Have you heard about it? No.
No.
There is so it's a science fiction trilogy. The last book is called The Death's End, and one of the problems that they're trying to tackle there is how to. So there's a human that has been kind of captured and sent to the alien kind of fleet civilization, and it's there, and he's trying to communicate back to humanity. The aliens allow him to do that, and what he's trying to do, he's trying to communicate how to travel at light speed, something that humans cannot do. in a way that is not going to put them in danger, because the contract that they have in place is if that human is going to disclose any of the insights, like of technological insights of the alien organization, then everyone is going to be in trouble. So the way he does that is he basically puts it in a story, like literally a tale, in a way where the metaphorical meaning is going to be so subtle that you will never in plain sight see what the lesson is about, unless you like really dig into this. So the storytelling is used as a package to share something that scientists, for example, were not like be able to derive, and that's the conversation form that travels. It's a beautiful trilogy for those of the viewers who are in the sci-fi. I would strongly encourage to read.
Oh, cool. Cool. And when it comes to the creator economy, are there any like industries that are this is more suited for out there, and businesses that it's more suited for, or is it just basically anything really?
Whether you're a business, whether you're a student, whether you're a founder and entrepreneur, whether you're an investor, um, making content is a way for you to get noticed by people that you want to get noticed by. Like you can use the substance of your contents to travel the world and connect you with people that you want to have in your ecosystem. I truly believe that content broadly is the medium of human connection in the upcoming stages, and those who practice it and learn how to do this well are going to be much better positioned to get access to the best opportunities in life, wherever they are.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thanks so much for joining us today.
Mary, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Okay, that was Vitalii Dodonov, who is co-founder of Toronto-based startup Stan. I'm Mario Tonaguzzi, managing editor of Canada's Entrepreneur. Thanks for joining us today.